So, hello everyone. I'm Queen J, and this is Talks with Queen J. Today we are going to be talking about kicking your kids out at 18 in the Black community. This, as you can see, I retwist Snappy Roots. This is my loctician. I'm going to give her the floor so she can introduce herself.
Hi guys, my name is Janine. I also go by Nina. I am Iris with Snappy Roots. I do locks, natural hair care, things like that. And one of the things that are my biggest focus is giving back to the community. So I'm definitely glad that she could let me join today so I can talk about some things that I like to, discuss.
And Black owned business.
You know it.
Okay, so in the Black community, somehow, some way, it became a thing for Black parents to kick their children out at 18 right after they graduate, whether they're 17 or 18 or not, because some of us, like myself, were 17. So what are your thoughts on that?
I definitely think it's detrimental to a young person's success when they have to go out into this world alone so early, especially in a time when it is extremely expensive to live by yourself. That's why a lot of them are getting into things that they shouldn't be. A lot of girls are getting into, like things like OnlyFans and, stripping and stuff like that because they have to find a way to make ends meet if their parents aren't going to help them. And I feel like that's really a big part of our community only because that was done to our parents. So we do what was done to us, unfortunately. Even though we know that it was a situation to where maybe we were uncomfortable or we had a hard time, but because we had to go through it, we don't want sometimes for our kids to have better than we have, which is unfortunate.
I agree 100%, and I think it's unfortunate as well. And I feel like those kids are always going to have resentment towards their parents because if they do make a way for themselves and they do come successful in the future, they're just going to look back and be like, wow, like it didn't have to take me this long. I didn't have to wait until my 30s
Right.
or my late, whatever to become successful. I could have done this way back when, but I mean, I was kicked out and I had to start from scratch and I had nobody to help me.
Right.
So, what are your thoughts on the Black community, Black Americans, and foreign Blacks in this instance?
I definitely see that it's a cultural difference. Me and my husband talk about it all the time. Um, he had to pay, bills early and things like that. With me, I could have lived with my mom until I was 40 for all she cared, and I wouldn't have had to pay her anything. And I see a lot of that is a difference, not just with him or people that are close to me. I worked at a call center for a long time, and I was like the call center mom to everybody. So like that was a lot of their stories. A lot of them were I work here because I have no other choice. I had to move out at 18. I had to move out at 17. So I have to find a way to make a way. And they are just so frustrated, and you can tell that sometimes they're just at their wits end trying to figure out how to juggle work and school and paying bills and things like that. And some of them unfortunately have kids young, and it's just really a hard time. And with me, even if that was my situation, I always would have my mom to fall back on because, as far as she's concerned, no matter if I'm 12 or 21 or 41, I'm still her baby. So even being out on my own, which is what I decided to do because I'm not really a rule follower, my mom still helped me. Like anything that I needed because she knew I was out there busting my butt to get it. Like if I needed help with rent one month, she would have sent it, no questions asked. Help with groceries one month if I would have needed it, no questions asked. And I see a lot of that is the problem is once we're out in the American community, a lot of the times that you can't pay for anything without paying it back or having something over my head to where, you had to help and talk to me about it.
Right. Or like they helped you out so many times and then I don't know, say you need help 2 years later. Well, don't you remember back when I did this and I did that? And it's
Exactly.
like, are you seriously bringing up old stuff like I'm your child?
Right.
Okay. So your mother is awesome. I don't know a lot of
Thank
mothers
you.
like that. My mother was not like that. Like my mom did not kick us out at 18. She did allow us to stay in the home while we were in school and working,
Mhm.
well, until, but she did not kick us out at 18. And she did ask for some odd number a month. And then when we were ready to go or when it was time to go, she did have that money saved up and she did give it to us. So
Okay.
I feel like that is something positive out of that. What do you think about mothers and fathers kicking out sons and kicking out daughters?
That is another thing that's kind of gender roles type of deal. Men are expected to grow and be mature faster, be successful faster, and things like that. And that is a very unfair requirement because at the end of the day, we all mature at different rates. Some, girls may not be mature enough to move out early, and some men may not be mature enough early, or just ready overall to move out early. And that's just not with their parents. The women that they date. A lot of men can't go up to women and say, "Oh, well, I live with my mom, or I live with my dad, or my family, or I have a roommate." A lot of folks don't like that, and to me, I never saw it as a problem because that was the culture I grew up in. My brothers didn't move out until they were like ready, almost to get married, had good girlfriends for years, and because they were also a part of our culture, they understood because a lot of them lived with their parents too.
And what's your culture for the people who don't know?
I'm from St. Thomas, so I'm USVI, Caribbean.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And girls also get a lot more help when they move out. A lot of boys are kind of thrown by the wayside. Girls get a lot more assistance when they move out, which is also unfair.
Are you saying that in general in the Black community?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Okay. So, what do you think about when a young girl gets pregnant at maybe like 15 or 16 and her mother's like, "Well, you can't stay here."
I know that is a tough subject for a lot of people, but a lot of the times people have to remember folks make mistakes. So, especially if you're not actively speaking to your children, a lot of us don't actively speak to our children about safe sex, making sure that they, if they do have a partner, making sure that they're not having kids early. Just a lot of things that they feel like kids kind of pick up on their own, but a lot of times they don't pick up from the right people. So if your child gets pregnant early, you kind of got to think first, what did I miss to make this happen? Exactly. Before you decide that you want to kick out your child for making a decision as a child. You know what I'm saying? And then it's how are you expecting two babies to go out into the world and thrive? So not only are you throwing your child by the wayside, you're throwing your grandchild by the wayside. Now, I'm not saying you have to coddle your daughter for getting pregnant. I'm not saying that at all. She still has to be responsible. That's her child. So, she made the decision to do adult things, which a lot of folks think sex with teenagers and stuff is okay. I do not agree. That's just me and my opinion.
Wait, your opinion?
I don't, like a lot of folks think, once kids are teenagers, it's okay. Just teach them about safe sex and stuff like that. When children are children, no matter if they are 16, 17, a lot of things they're not ready for yet.
Right.
And we kind of more push like safe sex instead of abstinence nowadays, which I do not agree with at all. Like in the least.
They push abstinence on us women, but they don't push abstinence on our kings, on our young boys, on our young princes.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that.
But yeah, I would definitely not kick out my child if she got pregnant early. She would definitely have to be responsible. She'd have to make sure she's still going to school. She'd have to have a job. I would definitely help her, but definitely not, oh, you're out of here just because you're pregnant. That would never be the case.
Would you allow the father of her child to move in and help?
Oh, no, sir. Your parents got to figure out what they got to do with you. No.
Okay.
Now, I'm nice. So if he's a good kid and his parents are terrible, I may consider it. But at the end of the day, like, I can't take on the role for everybody.
Sometimes when the baby's first born, like
absolutely, absolutely. He needs that bonding time as well. That's definitely fair. Absolutely.
Okay. Because girl, like some moms are like, no, he can come tomorrow. No, he gotta go home.
Child, your daughter was in that bed just like he was. You can't hold him any more accountable than you can hold her. Nope. That's not okay.
Okay. So what do you feel about when children, teenagers have a feeling come over them that, they like the opposite sex or they want to turn into the opposite sex? What do you feel about those parents that just disown their children and kick them out? And what do you feel about those parents that do that are Christians?
Ooh. Okay. So I don't agree with it. At the end of the day, I have to say it without, offending anybody. Now, it's not something that I would be like, oh my God, yay. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to kick my child out for something that they feel. Everybody's a person. They are allowed to be who they want to be and, you know, how they want to be that. Now, the extent that I allow them to be that before the age of 18 is a little different, because I feel like some of us push our kids into things when they're really, it's just like moving out. Yeah, you may feel this way, but we need to have some more discussion first before, you know, you at a tender age of 14, 15, 16, tell me that you want to like change your physical features permanently and things like that. That's just something I'm not okay with, because things change, people change, and you don't want your child to make a decision too early and end up regretting it, or end up feeling like, dang, you know, I made this decision so early, but I don't want people to think that, you know, I'm like wishy-washy or something like that, so I'm sticking with it.
Right.
So I want them to make sure that they're at a mature age, that they truly understand their feelings and stuff like that. But I would do the same for my straight child. It's the same thing. So
I heard you say you wouldn't agree with them changing their physical features. What about their clothing?
that would be another thing that would be hit or miss for me, only because kids are harsh. So I want to make sure that you're mentally ready for that type of, you know, kickback that you're going to get. Kids are harsh, adults are harsh. You know, people are going to look at you certain ways. People are going to talk to you certain ways. And I want to make sure that you are mentally capable to handle that before we start allowing you to present yourself that way, where just people can kind of tell and be able to attack you on it. Now, yes, you should unapologetically be you, but again, that's my child. I need to make sure that they're ready for that type of backlash. It's just something that's really important to me.
Okay, so you will not have your child out here like Miss Zaya with crop
Too early.
tops and their nails done going to the Pride Parade as a young teenager.
No. The Pride Parade is great, but I don't think a lot of the times, depending on which one you go to, they're necessarily children friendly, only because there's a lot of nudity and stuff out there. I've been to one with friends, and I'm like, a lot of people are scantily clad, and I just don't feel like that's something okay for kids to see, no matter the situation.
Exactly.
Like, I wouldn't take my kids to Mardi Gras, like, so I'm not gonna take my gay child to gay pride. That's just gonna like, I'm just not gonna do it. Right.
Like that I did not understand. I was just like, wow, like you took them at 12? Like, what do I know at 12?
Exactly. And I see a lot of the kids are outside and they're dancing and all this other stuff, and the kids aren't really in the best type of clothing either. And I'm like, that's just a lot for me.
And then, like, how comfortable are these kids? Have they seen all this before? Do they see it all the time? So it's nothing to them? Are they like, oh my gosh, Mom, what's that? Like, are they just like, whoa?
Exactly. That's a lot for you to consider. And as far as like Zaya Wade, I feel like it's too public. If your child is going through that type of transition and stuff like that in life, for you to keep us up on every single update, I just feel like that's really invasive to her privacy.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's unfair. Yeah. I think it's a lot.
But then
they're just trying to push that they're this happy family with this, you know, transgender daughter. And I feel like they're doing a lot, and I don't think that it's necessary for them to show the support for their child. I just don't think it is.
It's extra, and I feel like it's clout chasing. It's trying to be relevant because the LGBTQ community is so like prevalent right now, and it has been for the past years. And I also, me personally, if you want me to be 100% honest, I feel like Dwayne Wade is living through his son. I feel like this is what he wants to do. I really feel like in the relationship, he's more feminine than Gabby. Gabby's the more aggressive one. The way she talks about how he likes things done to him in the bedroom, it's like, you're a man. And your wife is bragging about how much you like this being done to you. So what else do you like being done to you?
And at the end of the day, that's fine. You're allowed to be sexually free because he's doing it with a woman. So that doesn't make him any type of way. But you have to be mindful that that's right. You have to be mindful that that's your husband, and the things that you guys talk about can have people look at him a certain type of way.
Yeah. And his pictures don't help either, girl. His pictures do not help.
I be trying to save him sometimes.
And then also it's just like, what did that child see in that home or see in general for them to want to change their own gender? That makes me.
I mean, I don't think some kids necessarily have to see it. I've known kids that are like 5, 6, 7, and I'm like, we may be pushing them towards the wrong direction. Like some kids, you can tell pretty early.
Okay.
My issue with it is if that was a 12-year-old girl, would y'all be okay with her in a crop top and nails as long as mine at 12? Like, I would not put my 12-year-old daughter in that type of clothes with short skirts as short as his skirt was in that one video with the baby and stuff like that. No matter girl or boy, to me the matter of dress and how adult it kind of looks, I'm a little old school, is what's a lot for me. Now, if y'all are letting him wear skinny jeans and a cute little shirt or whatever like that, okay, that's not too bad. But I think that they're kind of like over correcting and they're doing a lot.
It needs to be
as far as I'm concerned.
appropriate.
Correct.
What do you feel about, because honestly, I feel like when Gabby got her daughter or whatever from the surrogate, it was like a whole big moment. It was all about the baby girl. And then
Right.
I guess when Zaya came out, it just became like, okay, forget about baby girl, because I don't even hear about baby girl no more. Let's give all this clout and all this energy to Zaya. You're going on press runs, doing this and doing that on all different
Right.
TV shows and stuff, but then you're mad about people giving their opinion, but you're throwing it in our face and forcing it down our throats.
Exactly. That's the part that makes me upset, because when you share so much of this, of your child's life, you give people the right to put an opinion on it. And even if you're shielding her from it now, she's going to go back and be able to watch the things that like Lil Boosie said and stuff like that. And that's hurtful and very unfair. Like right now she may like the attention, but I think as she gets older, she's going to probably want to kind of pull back from that, because to me, it's a lot. I felt so bad for her after they did that interview and all these people wanted to weigh in on this young child's life that is 12 years old. That was just a lot. That's just something to me that should be anything to do with your child's sexuality, dating life, anything like that should be private and personal. And because they need to learn that as adults, because for us, it should be private and personal. Those are sacred moments. And for y'all to be sharing these types of changes when y'all should be supporting her as, a unit, I don't like that at all.
Do you feel like if they just went out and posted pictures of her and her crop tops and stuff that, people making all these comments, that would make them want to, speak out and say something? Or do you feel like they just came out and said it because, do you feel like they're trying to relate to other parents? Do you think it's just for clout? Like, what do you think it's about?
I think it's a mix. I think it's for a little bit of clout. I'm not gonna lie, because they do a lot of it. It's a lot of other celebrities that have transgender kids and stuff like that, and they don't spend this much time on the internet talking about it every 5 seconds. If that's y'all's life, live it. Y'all don't have to give us a blow by blow of what's going on with this kid. Like, y'all really don't have to. And if you're gonna post your pictures, turn off the comments. Like, if I'm gonna post a picture of him and I feel like somebody's gonna say something negative about my baby, I'm turning off the comments. Right. Look at the picture. If you don't like it, scroll on past. You can screenshot it and stuff like that, but do it on your page, on your time, where my child can't easily access it. It's just, and how can you sit there and read all of that abuse about your baby too? Like, that's just a lot.
You can only shade or shield your child so much because they have friends who have friends who, don't have parental controls on their phones or whatever it is. Like,
exactly.
Okay.
Right.